Welcome to Tales by GB. Welcome, dear friends. You are warmly invited to Tales by GB, a home of true African folktales and modern soul-stirring stories. Every tale shared here carries a deep lesson, a haunting truth, or a surprising twist from the hands of fate. So before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to the channel, tap the notification bell, and get comfortable. Because today's story will make your heart pause, your thoughts linger, and your spirit reflect. If you love stories filled with mystery, betrayal, and lessons, then sit back, take a deep breath, and let's journey together. Now, let's begin today's tale. The man at the gate. Elijah had just returned from the office. The day had been long and tiring and filled with noise he wished he could silence. As his car turned into his peaceful street, the sun was already bidding farewell, casting long shadows across the road. But just as he was about to honk for his security to open the gate, he saw something. Something strange. A man lying motionless, right in front of his gate. Elijah paused. He blinked again. No, he wasn't imagining things. There was truly a man. Right there, on the ground. He pressed his horn softly. Then again, louder this time. But the man didn't move. Not a single flinch. Not a groan. Elijah stepped out of the car carefully. He approached slowly, his heart beating faster with every step. The man looked young, probably in his early 30s, but very weak. His clothes were dusty, his lips cracked, his face empty, as though life had drained from him. With effort, Elijah lifted him off the middle of the road and gently placed him beside the gate fence. Then he opened the gate, drove his car inside. But he didn't rest. His conscience pricked him, loudly. He went back out, and this time, he carried the man into his house, into his very own living room. He rushed to the fridge, grabbed an energy drink, and knelt beside the stranger, trying to revive him. Minutes passed, and then the man's eyes slowly opened. Elijah breathed out in relief. "You're awake," he whispered. "What happened to you? Why were you lying in front of my gate?" The man struggled to speak. His voice was faint, like wind in a dry forest. I don't remember," he said. "My memory is gone. I don't know how I got there." Elijah narrowed his eyes. His mind whispered doubts. It sounded strange, too strange. Amnesia? Right in front of his gate, but he said nothing. "Not yet." The stranger coughed softly, then added, "You can call me Edward. I come from a poor background. I've lost everything. Even my memory feels broken. Please, sir, I need help." Before Elijah could ask anything more, Edward slumped again, unconscious. Elijah's breath caught. What if someone was watching? What would people think? A strange man, collapsed at his gate, now inside his house. In a world filled with suspicion, people could think anything, even dark things. He looked at his wristwatch, 5:07 p.m. There was no time to waste. With trembling hands, he carried Edward back to his car, laid him gently in the back seat, and sped off to the nearest hospital. At the hospital gates, nurses rushed toward him. He shouted, "Please, he's unconscious. I don't know him, but I found him outside my house." They brought a stretcher and wheeled Edward away. Inside, Elijah explained everything as best he could, which wasn't much. Soon a doctor came, ran some tests. Hours passed. Then the doctor called Elijah aside. His face was serious. "Sir," he said quietly, "this young man, his brain cells are deteriorating. If nothing is done quickly, he may suffer a severe stroke." Elijah gasped. "But I don't even know him. I just tried to help." The doctor's tone changed, stern now. "Since you brought him in and signed the emergency entry form, you're now legally responsible. If anything happens to him, the law will come for you." Elijah was speechless. His mouth opened, but no words came. How did this become his burden? He left the hospital that evening, drove home, but sleep refused to visit him. He paced the living room, sat, stood, laid down, then paced again. At dawn, his phone rang, an unknown number. He hesitated, then picked up. "Hello? Sir, this is the hospital. Please come quickly. The patient's condition is getting worse." Elijah rushed back. This time, the doctor didn't even wait. "His bill is now $24,000, the doctor said. "If we don't begin treatment urgently, he may not survive." Elijah's eyes widened. He checked his phone. $30,000, his entire savings for the past 1 year. He paused, swallowed, then slowly walked to the billing counter and paid. All $24,000. 6 hours passed. He left the hospital and went to work. His colleagues noticed as, "Elijah, you're late." But he said nothing. He just sat there, thinking about life, about fate, about how trying to do good could leave a man broke. After work, he returned to the hospital. The doctor met him, smiling. "He's awake now. You can see him." Inside the ward, Edward smiled weakly. "Thank you, sir. I don't know what would have happened if not for you." The doctor added, "He will be discharged tomorrow." Elijah nodded. That night, he told Sharon, his girlfriend, everything. She came over, saw the worry in his eyes, and sat beside him. "I've spent all my savings," Elijah said. "Now I'm bringing him home until he regains strength." Sharon was quiet. Then she said, "It's okay. We'll manage together. Just be strong, for me." Days passed. Edward moved in. Elijah tried to stay hopeful, but he was now broke. One morning, he left for work, on foot. His car now had issues. At home, Edward sat with Sharon. They were whispering, their eyes shifting, their lips curled in hidden smiles. Edward leaned in. "He doesn't suspect anything?" Sharon laughed. "No, everything is going just as planned." She stood, stretched, and whispered, "Let's take everything today, before he returns." Edward got to work. He unmounted Elijah's smart TV, packed the iPad, the laptop. Sharon entered Elijah's room, grabbed his car keys, and handed them to Edward. "Hope you can drive," she teased. "Of course," he grinned. "Let's move." They loaded the car. Everything gone. The man Elijah helped was now robbing him. The woman Elijah loved was the mastermind. It was all a setup. Even the doctor had been paid to lie. The hospital, a stage, the bill, a trap. That evening, Elijah returned. His gate was wide open, his car gone, his house empty. He called Sharon. No answer. Called again. Switched off. Sharon had changed her SIM. Her tracks vanished. By then, they were gone. Crossed the border, never to return. Elijah stood in the silence of his empty home. His shoulders dropped, his soul crushed. He had lost everything. His trust, his money, his love, and worst of all, his belief in helping others. Now let me ask you, is it always good to help people in need? Because sometimes the very people you're trying to lift up are the ones digging the pit for your downfall. Don't forget to subscribe to Tales by GB. Elijah now understood that truth. He had trusted too quickly, given too generously, and believed too blindly. His house was empty. His heart, even emptier. He stood at the center of his living room. The quietness screamed louder than thunder. His smart TV gone, his iPad and laptop gone, his car gone. Even the wristwatch he had bought with his first salary, gone. The woman he had planned to marry, gone too. And not with another man, but with the very man he had rescued from the roadside. A stranger. A stranger he carried into his home, into his life, into his trust. Elijah sank slowly to his knees. His hands trembled. Tears gathered in his eyes, but they refused to fall. He stared blankly at the wall, at the empty space where his clock once ticked. Now even time seemed to mock him. The next morning, Elijah walked into the police station, quietly, slowly, without hope, but with desperation. He filed a report. "Her name is Sharon," he said. "My fiancée. She ran away with a man I rescued. They stole everything from me." The officer raised a brow. "And what's this man's name?" Elijah hesitated. His voice cracked. "Edward. That's what he told me. He claimed to have lost his memory." The officer leaned back in his chair. He scratched his beard. "This sounds like a setup, sir. We've had similar cases recently. Criminal duos working together. One pretends to be helpless, the other plays lover. They trap good-hearted people like you." Elijah's chest tightened. "So, there's nothing you can do?" The officer gave a long sigh. "We'll file it and inform immigration to track the car if it crosses a checkpoint. But truth is, they're likely long gone." Days passed, then weeks, then a month. No trace of Edward. No sighting of Sharon. Elijah fell into depression. He stopped going to work, stopped bathing, stopped talking. His landlord visited one day. "Elijah," he called softly, "you've not paid rent for 2 months now. I don't want to push you, but you must try something." Elijah just nodded, silent, ashamed, lost. He picked up his phone, opened Sharon's old messages, and scrolled. So many "I love yous. So many forever promises. So many lies. Then one day, Elijah woke up to a knock on his door. He ignored it. Then another knock, softer this time. He forced himself up, opened the door. A young woman stood there, slim, quiet. In a white church blouse and black skirt, she held a small book in her hand. "Good morning, sir," she greeted. "My name is Ruth. I live 3 streets away. We're just doing some morning evangelism." Elijah nodded weakly. He wanted to close the door, but then she smiled, a pure, honest, unforced smile. "Sir, I don't know what you're going through, but God asked me to tell you, you are not forgotten." Elijah froze. Those words hit something inside. For the first time in weeks, he felt something stir, hope. Ruth handed him a small paper. "If you ever need someone to talk to, this is my number." Then she left, just like that. That night, Elijah sat on his bed, phone in hand. He stared at the paper, then dialed. Ruth picked on the second ring. "Hello?" He didn't know what to say. He just breathed. She listened. No judgment, no rush. And that's how it began. Elijah started talking. Then talking turned to sharing. Sharing turned to healing. Bit by bit, week by week. One Sunday, he followed Ruth to church. And as the choir sang, he felt tears fall down his face. Real tears. Healing tears. Not of loss, but of release. After the service, Ruth looked at him and smiled. "You see, pain doesn't always win." Elijah chuckled softly. The first real laugh in months. "Thank you," he whispered. "You have no idea what you've done for me." Ruth replied, "I didn't do anything. God just sent me to stand by your gate at the right time." Elijah blinked, stunned. A gate. That word, gate. His story had begun with a stranger at his gate, but now healing had come through another stranger at his door. And so, dear listener, not every stranger is sent by heaven, but some truly are. Some come to break you, and some to rebuild you. Elijah lost everything through betrayal, but through kindness and faith, he found something even deeper. Peace, purpose, and a second chance. Thank you for listening to Tales by GB. If this story touched you, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more slow, powerful folktales from the soul of Africa. And remember, when the world breaks you, heaven may still send help, not through thunder or fire, but through a gentle knock at your door.